Hello, Wealth Hackers. Well, it's the first Wealth Insight for 2024. Pretty exciting. So this is an interesting question for me. I got asked many, many years ago. People, I talk a lot about wealth, but yet people sort of say to me, "Oh, Scott, but do you help people invest or do you talk, about personal development?" And it's interesting because I think it's both. I learned something from Roger Hamilton many years ago where he said, "What is wealth?" And he said, "Wealth is what you have if you lose all your money. Wealth is what you have if you lose all your money." So what made me think about what I should do as a Wealth Insight this week was I had a fascinating question. Someone actually said to me, "What makes you happy?" I thought to myself, wow, that's quite an interesting question because, when I was really young, I'm talking like teenage years, I was already quite clear on what made me happy. In fact, I remember I was about 19 years old and I went to a Sportron event. It's like an Amway event, multi-tier marketing, whatever. My dad had lost all his money. You've all heard the story. And now he was trying to make some money doing that. And in simple terms, like the presenter went around the room like, "What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?" And everyone was like, "Money, money, money," and this, and I was like, "Happiness." And I remember just feeling the whole room just turning and looking at me like, "Who's this kid?" And I could define happiness in those days. I had a table and I had 4 pillars to my table, and I was pretty clear. And I hadn't thought about it a lot until I got literally asked on Sunday or something, Sunday or Monday. What makes you happy? And I thought, wow, that's an interesting question. So I spent a good deal of time on Monday and Tuesday thinking about that. Because, it's quite important. Like if you know what makes you happy, then do more of that and you're going to be more happy. And there's a big difference between joy and happiness as well. Because happiness is one of those things that just goes up and down, whereas joy is a state. But what I did, and it was interesting because I've never learned this from anyone else. It was just an intuition thing. But I started with what I'm grateful for. So I took my journal out and I actually I'm going to go get it quickly for you. So I took my journal out here and I literally said what am I grateful for? So firstly I defined what is happiness. And I said, happiness is a feeling of ongoing joy and a lack of anxiety. And that's just me, that's my definition. And then I went, what makes me happy? And I said, let's start with what I'm grateful for. And I wrote 3 pages of gratitude and all the things that I'm grateful for. And what was so interesting is after doing the gratitude, it was quite easy to work out what makes me happy. Because I then went, now there are the clues. What's easier to answer is what makes me happy. And I then went through that and I basically filled in what made me happy. And I got another kind of 2 pages of what makes me happy. Now, interesting, back to when I was 19 or early 20s, I had a table with 4 pillars. And it was quite sort of specific. And now it's much more tangible. There's another 25 years of experience added on top of that. And so my challenge to you as you start this year is we all want results. We all want to make more money and we want to buy, a helicopter or a plane or a new car, or you get my point. But what about the less tangible things, the things I've always struggled with? It's easy to visualize a new car or a new house or more money, but it's always been very hard for me to visualize a feeling or to be a way of being, a state of joy. And one of the things I'm very grateful for is I worked really hard in 2023 and I really got to a place of joy, which is fantastic. But my invitation to you is, before we get into the grind of this year, and it's already started for most of us, but take some time out. Think about what makes you happy. Write down, to start off with, what you're grateful for. And then there is what you'll see the substance of what makes you happy. And then this year, plan out your year and make sure that you put in time. It's called the big rocks, the important things. Don't get caught up in the urgent things. Get caught up in the important things. And for those of you part of the Wealth Hacker community, I've shared the one thing resources with you, because what's critically important is when you know something's important, you make time for it. And if you start with happiness and ultimately joy, maybe you'll have a highly successful year, one full of fun, happiness, and joy. That's my wish for you. Have an awesome year. If you enjoy these, subscribe to the channel, share them with a friend. Please leave questions or comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts around happiness. And I look forward to a great year. These come out every Friday. See you next Friday. Cheers.